Good. Hello there. This is the Demon 360, and tonight's stream is just gonna be another little Q&A thing. We're not doing anything too crazy tonight. Just hang out, do some polls, just do some basic chatting, some Q&A. We're not really going to be doing any tier lists today because I feel like people get less interested when I do tier lists and I get a little less focused. So we're not going to be doing tier lists. What else is there? So no tier lists. Just a lot of Q&A. Just talking, hanging out, having fun, talking all stuff. Serian Kall, what if, power scaling, all sorts of stuff. Maybe do some polls about the what if series, and maybe some versus stuff. The thing with versus stuff is that I'm not taking any more requests. I'm more, how do I say it? Like, I'm more doing a lot of power scaling videos because the versus videos are around, but they're a lot harder to make. So they don't happen as often as a power scaling video. Because I do have a few power scaling videos that I do want to make, just solo power scaling, rather than, like, the versus videos will happen. It's just going to take a longer time. They're like events on the channel, is what I should say. They're more of event-based videos. Like, when one happens, it's more like an event. But in the meantime, I want to do other things I enjoy. So, yeah, just leave questions, leave stuff. I think Shadow of Terror of the Adventures of Serian Kall should be done before the end of August. For sure, we only have 4 chapters left. There's not a whole bunch more. They're going to be a lot longer chapters because there's a lot more story to touch upon, but they will. There's only about 4 more chapters in Shadow of Terror. Again, they'll be longer, but still. I just repeated myself, but that's okay. And yeah, once Shadow of Terror is done, there's so much more story with Serian Kall to be told, and that's the exciting part, because the options are limitless. Well, I do know all the I know his story. I know his fate. People don't know his fate or his story. Will we see Serian Kall in a versus match? Probably not. I mean, well, for starters, he's not canon. There's no artwork or video of him. And I'd rather just tell his story. And also, as I was saying, versus videos aren't as common on the channel. They're not as big or popular. Well, they are popular, just they take longer to make. And so I don't make them as much. They're more like event style videos, more than, well, I continue to do other stuff. So, but yeah, I actually made a bunch of fun covers for the next 3 books after Shadow of Terror. And they are gonna be fun. They're gonna be some fun stuff. But I do have one power scaling thing. And where is that? I don't know if I can put it on the screen, but I don't know how people are gonna react to it if I it's not a versus video, but it's a power scaling video, kind of in the same regard. I don't know how people are gonna react to it, because I don't think a lot of people will be happy with my decision of who I am power scaling, or which version of a character I'm specifically power scaling, but I might as well just kind of show it. I might as well show it. It's on my phone, but hopefully it's not. Hold on. It's kind of blurry, but that's the next power scaling video. That's the cover I'm working on. And it was probably a little blurry, but hopefully you know who that is that I will be power scaling. Hot take: without the fancy equipment and trick lightsaber, XR Kun isn't top tier. I can see it. Because I mean, XR Kun isn't weak, but I also think Naga Sadao's gauntlets and his advanced lightsaber, I do think very much back him up. There are people that think XR Kun is like the strongest Sith Lord in galactic history. I've heard people say he's universal tier in terms of power, and I just don't get it. I personally don't see it, because first of all, he was stalemated with Ulick in a sparring session, or not a sparring session, just a straight duel. If XR Kun was universal tier, he could literally just blow up planets by snapping his fingers. And the most level of just pure destruction he ever did was that one ritual before he ascended into a spirit. And that did not destroy a planet. It just destroyed a large part of Yavin. So I do agree to an extent that XR is not as powerful as people like to overhype him as. But I think he isn't weak at the same time. But I do think the gauntlets, Naga Sadao's gauntlets and his little stuff is... Because as a duelist, he's just about equal with Ulick. And the double blade and stuff give him a couple tricks, but I would argue Ulick's arguably a better just raw swordsman. Just pure... I mean, I think XR and Ulick are in the same tier, and they're basically two sides of the same coin. XR is better at versatility and surprise stuff, whereas Ulick, I think, is better at just raw martial stuff like that. So, Anya Kuro could have learned Vapad. I don't know if she ever did, but I think if someone did teach her, I think she could have figured it out. I think. Because, let's be real, if Quinlan Voss could control Vapad even slightly, then Anya could for sure. Deepa... I don't blame Deepa for Vapad. Deepa just went insane and went crazy. That wasn't really her fault, though. Sora Bulk was just insane. He was just nuts. Though, I don't know, was it Vapad that drove Sora and Deepa crazy? Or did they just go crazy on their own? I'm not sure. It's not really known, but... yeah, Anya definitely had the mind that she could have just... she could have learned Vapad easy. But... it's not impossible. But yeah, I guess I can talk a little bit about my power scaling video in the meantime. And I don't have it on a computer, so I can't really share it. But it is that I will be power scaling is Luke Skywalker from the Disney Star Wars timeline, from the Disney Canon timeline. And he's interesting. He's interesting to scale, is one thing I will say. It's the reason I got the Shadow of the Sith book, because he has a lot of stuff. But I think people are just crapping on him. And I think, here's a hot take, it's easier to put Grandmaster Luke Skywalker from Canon in a versus video than Grandmaster Luke from Legends. And that's more because Legends Luke is just OP as F. Where Canon Luke is a little easier to scale in his timeline. The main thing to think about is this is Luke Skywalker from one universe, Luke Skywalker from another universe. And that's really the way I've been looking at it. Because I think the way to separate canon and legends, and the way I've been doing this for a little while now, is if you take them as two different timelines, just two different timelines, I think they can work if you don't compare them to the other and you just refer to them as their own universe. And the reason I'm thinking this is because of Star Wars Infinities. Does anyone remember the Infinities comics? And it was different what-if scenarios for the original trilogy for each movie. Who's to say that those universes can't be canon? I know, obviously, when they came out, they were like, oh, these aren't canon, they're just what-if scenarios. But if you think about it, you could just say there's a Star Wars multiverse and just have Legends and canon as different timelines and have the original 6 movies of Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi as like the center. You could even go as far to say Zero BBY is the center of all the different timelines, and everything that happens is connected from there. But then you also have what ifs from the prequel era and stuff. And that is the center. And then the timelines can go in various different ways, whether it be in the past or future. So that's the way I've been looking at it. And I think when you look at it in that regard, I think it's a lot easier to understand choices that were made in both Legends and canon. Because if you don't compare it straight to Legends, like, oh my god, Luke Skywalker didn't, move a black hole in canon, well, it's a different timeline. It's a different version of Luke. Like, anything's possible. My own What If series. You can say I character assassinated Luke in the What If Galen and Vader killed Sidious. He's more evil than Sidious in my timeline. In my What If timeline. He's insane. You could say I character assassinated him. That's just another universe. That's just another timeline. Something else happened in that universe. He's not going to be exactly the same. Both just in general as characters. And come on, guys, let's be real. We can talk about Luke being out of character in canon, but let's be real. Dark Empire exists in Legends. Luke went on a bloodthirsty rampage after Lumaya after Mara's death, which I do think is justifiable. More justifiable than canon. So, yeah. Do you think the Darksaber made it to the NJO era? I don't even know if the Darksaber's in Legends. It might be. I think it probably did. It's probably going to end up sticking with the Mandalorians in canon. But I don't even know if that blade made it into Legends. So, yeah. Still don't like The Rise of Skywalker, though. I really don't like that movie. It was actually on TV a couple nights ago, was The Rise of Skywalker, and I haven't watched Rise of Skywalker since theaters. Well, no, I've watched it once since theaters, and I didn't even finish it because I just hated it so much. And so there was nothing else on, so I watched it to see if I liked it anymore. And no. The answer is no, I still really don't like that movie. Like, I'll even go as far to say my opinion of The Last Jedi has gone somewhat up in previous time. Rise of Skywalker, it's still the way bottom. I still hate that movie. It's so bad. But, I have considered doing, like, a full-on... I know I've rewritten the sequel trilogy so many times. Like, so many goddamn times. But I actually want to do, like, a full-on sequel trilogy that's, like, from scratch. like not using any of the characters. I mean, there's a few characters I would want to use. Like, I think the main issue with that would be, is it still in canon? Would I be still using The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and all those shows? Would they still exist? Would they still connect? And that's really the big question there. But it's just thoughts. What do you think Grogu's upper limit is? It's all in the Grogu's an interesting character because he can accomplish big tier feats, but it takes a lot of energy for him to do. But I do think it is very possible that he could achieve Yoda level. If he had stuck with Luke and just continued to train his whole life, I think, or if he ever went back to the Jedi life after Din Djarin died, he probably could, because Yoda is way more powerful than we give him credit for. And I know Genstrai 1 does not agree with me on that, but Yoda's a freaking beast. I mean, even in both canon and Legends, he's moving mountains. The fight with Sidious in Revenge of the Sith is a fight that I don't think people realize just how impressive Yoda's demonstration against Palpatine is in that confrontation. Because as it was confirmed a while back, that after Order 66, the death of so many Jedi gave an amplification to all Darkseid users. The reason why Vader was not using that kind of power amp was because he was emotionally hindered. We all know that he was emotionally hindered on Mustafar by a significant amount. So he wasn't able to channel that power amp in the same way that Maul and Sidious were able to. So the Yoda that went to fight Sidious in Revenge of the Sith, he was fighting an amped Sidious. Sidious had a full-on dark side amp. Yoda's power was not nerfed, but it was a little lower because of so much darkness. And Yoda disarmed Sidious. He disarmed Sidious. That's why they're dueling. And then we go to Mustafar, and we cut to Coruscant, and Sidious doesn't have his lightsaber. Yoda just disarmed him. And then Yoda proceeded to match him in force power, and then his exhaustion gave in. So, like, I don't know. I think Yoda's more impressive than we give him credit for that feat. And Sidious was already being scaled to, like, the top tier Sith Lords before the power amp. Then he got the power amp, and Yoda was equal to that version. He wasn't as strong as, Return of the Jedi or Dark Empire, but he was still really, really strong. Ataru is a massive stamina dump and shouldn't be a standalone style. I agree. I think if you use Ataru in the way that Obi-Wan was using it in The Phantom Menace, I think that's the best version of the style. Like, that's the most practical version of the style, is Obi-Wan Kenobi in The Phantom Menace. Because what Obi-Wan was doing was a dedicated Ataru, but it wasn't like a Venzalo or a Yoda just overdoing it with the flips and the acrobatics. It was more dedicated on the speed-based, flourishing blade work with the occasional acrobatics. And that worked, and I think that's way more practical than the Venzalo type, or the Satil Shan version, or the Yoda version. Qui-Gon's version of Ataru is so watered down it might as well just be Gemso. And I actually see no reason why you can't just say he was Gemso. Because if he wasn't confirmed to be an Ataru duelist, there's no way anyone would think he's an Ataru fighter. So, that's why I say Obi-Wan's version was the most practical. But then again, yeah, Qui-Gon's retooling was better, but it also kind of just fell right into Gemso. And it kind of, Qui-Gon watered Ataru down to the point where it really lacked all the benefits of Ataru. it was just a straightforward power style. Whereas I think Obi-Wan's version of the style was more practical because it took Ataru's advantage of speed, blitz, blade work, and acrobatics, but it was watered down so you could still use it without overextending yourself. So Obi-Wan was still taking those advantages, but was also not killing himself as much as he was defeating his opponent. So Qui-Gon's version is still better than, Zalo and all the others who freaking died from the style or tired themselves out or overextended, but Qui-Gon's style was just he had a lot of Makashi in his style too, like a lot of blade binding and stuff like that, which obviously comes from Dooku. But yeah, I always think Obi-Wan's Phantom Menace Obi-Wan had the most practical style. Although I do think it was better that he moved over to, I think Obi-Wan's ultimate decision to move to Serisu and use Ataru as his offense supplement was probably the smartest decision he ever made. Because I think if he had dedicated himself solely to that Ataru, he wouldn't be bad, but he was a lot better because he chose to go with Serisu. Because, again, Ataru is better used as a short burst offense style, and that's kind of how Kenobi used it. He kind of hybridized it with Serisu in a way that he could just shift so easily. And he was already, the best Serisu master of all time. I don't think anyone's arguing that. And then he could just instantly switch into Ataru, have the practical version of the style, and they were just... Yeah. Dooku could have beaten Maul on Mandalore. Oh, for sure. Dooku beats Maul every single time. I don't care which version of Darth Maul it is, whether it's Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, Siege of Mandalore, Rebels, Dooku beats him every time. Like, there's just no way Dooku doesn't beat him. Like, and maybe it's because I'm a Count Dooku stan, and I'm a Dooku fan, but first of all, Dooku's one of the best duelists of the prequel era. I would even argue he's like top 3 in terms of prequel era lightsaber duelists. I would go as far to call him the greatest Makashi duelist specialist of all time. Like, I know a lot of people say Tulak Horde, but we don't even know what Tulak Horde could do. We just know he was really, really good. Where Dooku was like standing toe-to-toe with the top-tier duelists of his era. And I haven't seen a Makashi duelist that has demonstrated the same kind of stuff as him. Coupled with that, Dooku is, again, one of the strongest Jedi of the Order. Like, he's Mace Windu tier. Easily. Just in terms of power. Maul is good. He's very, very good. But compared to Dooku, Maul gets the physical edge. Maul for sure gets the physical edge. But Dooku takes everything else. It would literally be Mace Windu's duel with Ventress. Just Maul standing in for Ventress and Dooku standing in for Mace. It would have been solid. Dooku would have been a threat to the one Sith except Crate. I would go as far to say Crate and Warlock. But yeah, Dooku would probably solo most. If you put Dooku in a the one Sith Order's like gauntlet, if you put him in a gauntlet with Nile, Talon, Malady, Azard, Strife, Warlock, and Crate, and even Crate Vector. Yeah, the only really 2 who could challenge him were Warlock and Darth Crate. I don't know how Vector Crate would do. I think Vector Crate would be about equal. It really depends on whether Dooku's fatigue or Crate's Vong Coral got in the way. Reborn Crate, it's just a stomp. But don't underestimate Darth Warlock III. Don't underestimate him. He made a fool out of Darth Andedu in their little sorcery fight. And he did actually hold his own against Reborn Crate. Pretty well, actually. And even got him with the Force Memory. Hit him with the Force Memory and just destroyed him. Honestly, think Dooku would beat Zana. The thing is I can see it. Because if you think about it, Zana's weird trump card is the spells of madness, the fear and madness. And I don't see any reason why Dooku wouldn't do any less than Darth Bane. Because Dooku doesn't have a lot of emotional instability. Dooku's a very calm, collected, powerful Sith. So I see no reason as to why Dooku couldn't resist the spells in the same way that Darth Bane did. And it's the exact same reason why I stand by my argument that Dooku could beat Mace in a straight fight. Because Vapad would have no effect on him. Because Dooku isn't a raging psychopath like some of the other Sith Lords. So, yeah, I think... And Zana is good with Surisu. I mean, she's faced some pretty top-tier duelists. But Dooku's, like, peak duelist. Like, we can talk about how good Rask de Lasso, Valentine Farfalla, Lord Hoth, Johan Othon kind of sucks, but we don't say it to his face. We can talk about how good they are, but do any of them really beat Count Dooku? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Dooku could easily see a flaw in Zana's Surisu and just exploit it, to be honest. But yeah. But yeah, Dooku stomps. Zana should have learned Makashi and Naiman with some training in Surisu. Capitalize on Zana's force powers and of body type. I think Zana would have been better learning Naiman, but the second variation of Naiman. Like, adapting to the situation and focusing on force abilities. Because Zana has a lot of power. I mean, by Dynasty of Evil, she was equal with Bane in force power. And she was like half his age. So I think Zana should have trained in Naiman to help her couple that into her style more, but the second variation of Naiman, not the first really bad duelist version or the Exar Kun crate style. I think she should have learned the version that was used by like the Grand Inquisitor, who is a very underrated character as well. But and Revan, I think he should have used that version, or she should have used that version, because it would have just been so much easier, because she could have adapted to any situation and focused harder on force abilities. So I think that would have been the superior route to go down. But hold on. I'm screwing around with some fun stuff. Oh, we don't have a lot of viewers. Oh, here we go. Did you like? Oh. Was it? Revan used Makashi to cut off Malik's jaw. Only Makashi is so surgical. I can see that. I mean, it's also very... We don't know exactly how he did it, but it could have been Makashi. It could have been any form, to be honest. But it could have even been Trikata. I've always wondered if Revan used Trikata on that version. Which, speaking of... Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying. Never mind. But yeah. Revan using Makashi. It's very possible. Revan's more than skilled enough to use Makashi. But, Revan's more than skilled enough, but it's very possible. I always thought it was Drakata, but hey, it's all up in the air as to how that duel played out. Can I move that? I don't think I can. Alright. Should be almost done. I was setting some polls up for the Serian Kall stuff. But Revan is the best user of Nyman. I think it depends on which version of Nyman, because Nyman has the 3 different versions, and Revan is by far the best user of the second variation. He's by far the best. But if we're talking like the third variation with Exar Kun, Darth Krayt, General Grievous, he has some competition. But you could also go to the first variation of the form, Darth Plagueis, Johan Othon, Avar Kriss, and all those characters. And Avar. Oh, is Avar the best of the first? I think Avar Kriss is the best at the first variation of Nyman on pure blade work, but Plagueis is smarter. That's why I gave him the edge in the video. Revan is the best at the second variation, and I would say it's between Exar and Krayt for the third variation. I might lean with Krayt a little bit more, but it could go either way. I might lean toward, but Krayt, it might just because of the power, but who knows? I feel like Krayt is a little overhyped as a duelist, but not too bad. He's not too overhyped, but it's not like terrible. Because I mean, he lost to Obi-Wan as a Jedi. He matched Warlock for a time, and then beat him simply because Warlock relied on Force abilities too much. Almost lost to Kate Skywalker with the Vector when he in the Vector arc, but that was because of the Coral and stuff. And let's be real, Kate at the time was not a great duelist. He was scrappy, but Plagueis was such a threat to Sidious that Sidious was scared to fight him in a straight-up fight. It's possible. I mean, James Luceno did say that Plagueis could potentially beat Sidious in a straight fight. I think what Sidious was thinking, I don't think Sidious was afraid of Plagueis. It was more he knew that the fight could go either way. If it came to a straight 1v1 fight, he knew, okay, I could win or I could lose. I'm just not going to take that chance, and I'm just going to get him drunk and kill him in his sleep. So I think it was more Sidious was trying to not take a chance that could have risked him, rather than being genuinely scared. Because I don't think he was scared, because he was already powerful. Would I be open to doing a best to worst Skywalker video? I was working on a ranking the Skywalkers, like in terms of power, a while back. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna do the Canon Luke Skywalker power scaling first. I know that video is not going to do well because so many people don't like that version of Luke. But I think as long as you separate him from Legends, I don't think he's that bad of a character. And I would even go as far to say that the choices that they used in The Last Jedi were not that bad and were actually kind of interesting, if you really think about it. But I know a lot of people would not agree with me on that, which is okay. I respect it. But Rise of Skywalker still sucks. That movie might be the running joke on the channel for how bad it is. But the fact that Sidious, who's an S-tier Sith, died to getting thrown out on a reactor shaft still makes you go. It is pretty funny, like, for all that power to just die so stupidly. I think it's hilarious. But hey, he had all the power, and then it just got taken away from him in the stupidest way. But he did have enough time to make amends for his mistakes, if you get my joke. It's from Robot Chicken, when he called Jar Jar to apologize to him, and Jar Jar ended up being a Sith Lord. That video is funny. Robot Chicken is canon, right? We all agree that Robot Chicken is canon. I personally think, like, there's that one comic about Uriel Poof apparently dying before Attack of the Clones. Excuse me, he was going to get the pizza for the council, and then he had to work at the Imperial cafeteria. Like what's this? Then again, it's just another timeline. It depends which timeline you're talking about. Like, Robot Chicken to me is canon, but there's also a comic where Uriel Poof dies. So, which timeline was that from? Was that from canon or Legends or another timeline? It's all up in the air. But Darth Sion is the immortality Plagueis is trying to find. I don't know. I think Plagueis was looking for a way to just live beyond that, because Sion was more of a character just willing himself to live, whereas Plagueis was trying to find a way to just completely deny death in a way, like, because it's pretty consistent that Darksiders can just will themselves to live if they really want to. And I think Plagueis knew he had the power that he could do that, but I think Plagueis wanted a more scientific way. He wanted to develop a way using the midichlorians to not need to will that into existence. I think he was trying to do what Vitiate did, but he was trying to do a better version of what Vitiate did, because Vitiate more could just control anybody. Like, his spirit was just so powerful that he could just live on, manipulate people to bring him back, and then he could just take a new body. But Plagueis was like, I need a quicker way to do that. I need a quicker way to just... Yeah. Sion. Man literally too angry to die. That's the Sith. He was a wound in the Force, though, so I think that was a part of it, but it's true. That's him. That's Darth Maul. Vader, after Mustafar. Or before Mustafar, I don't know. Vader on Mustafar. Freaking psycho. But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, did Nihilus technically die? Because I feel he did, but I've heard things that he was, I don't know. I've heard stuff that Nihilus was like a ghost on Korriban, and he never left. Sorry, I'm late. I had to sneak away. You made it. You made it. It's all good. It's all good. Welcome. Welcome. We've just been chatting on stuff. But, yeah. Exciting things, I guess. I don't know exciting things. I don't really know what is exciting anymore. I'm supposed to be the cool person, and I'm not. But that's okay. But I don't know. Okay, that's an awkward silence. We could put out the polls. I wrote a couple polls for a lot of Serian Kall stuff, some what if stuff, some power scaling stuff. But yeah, I can throw those out. I don't know. I don't really know exactly what to talk about. That would be interesting. But I finished the Serian Kall's timeline. But so that was fun. I finished that. Scion should have been a better duelist. I don't think he was a bad duelist, but he definitely could have been better. Like, he had all those centuries to train and stuff. But hey, he did fight Mitra Surik like several times and made her try, and Surik isn't someone to scoff her nose at. She was actually pretty good. Think about it. I thought she was pretty good myself. Want to see Kaiza learning force magic? Hey, anything's possible. I can't confirm nor deny anything that would happen in the story. I will say that this is not spoiling anything for Shadow of Terror, but in future stories, way off in the future, Kaiza could be experimenting with other Force factions that many seem to forget about, surprisingly. And she might try and find some alternative Force focuses and Force studies that that people might not be expecting. Good to hear Siren has a lot to bring. Oh, yes, he does. Siren has a lot more stories coming his way. Some you might expect, some you might not expect. But Bane would beat Grievous. I think he'd do well against Canon Grievous. Obvious victory, but Legends Grievous, never know. But yeah, I can throw out the polls. It can be fun. But to the first poll is which Serian Kall book was better, because I know Shadow of Terror isn't done. I've already stated I said earlier ago that I was Shadow of Terror chapter 7's almost done. We have 4 chapters left. We're going to make it to chapter 10. They're going to be longer chapters, but they're going to be a lot longer chapters is what they're going to be. But 4 chapters left. So we're past the halfway mark. So there you go, Convergence of Fate or Shadow of Terror, which was the superior story so far. Granted, you're ranking a finished book compared to a non-finished book, but hey, anything is possible. I thought it was Shadow of Terror myself, but I have no idea. Oh, Shadow of Terror has 100%. Yeah. So, hope, like Kaiza, she may learn from Force martial arts sects. Could be possible. I do know that the Adventures of Serian Kall will have a bit of a focus on different Force orders beyond the Jedi and the Sith. Now whether that's before Order 66 or after Order 66, I can't spoil that, because I can't spoil if he survives Order 66 or not. Anything's possible. But yeah, I will say that Kaiza and Siren both have a lot more Force orders that they will be running into in the future. Whether they do it together or against each other is another thing I can't spoil. But actually, that's the other poll. It is. Oh, come on. Oh, I can't put up another poll. I have to end this poll. Okay, so Shadow of Terror is by far the one people liked better, which I respect. I like that. I'm glad people like Shadow of Terror. Which this is a character. is your... This is for a favorite character besides Siren. So Ira, Saren, and Liza Cersei. There we go. So Siren is not being counted for that since he's the main character, because he obviously has an advantage over people. But yeah, those are the side characters. But I will say I do have the covers and the plots for the rest of the books. The rest of the stories. Because, yeah, we got one for Alina and we got one for Kaiza. I know Kaiza was gonna be. I knew Kaiza was gonna be popular when I was writing the what was it? The chapter 6. I knew Kaiza was gonna get popular because she's arguably the most developed character now in the series, just because of that one chapter. She's arguably the most developed character in the series, and she isn't done. She's getting more character development in these last few chapters of Shadow of Terror. And she wasn't even supposed to be. She was a part of the series that was a very late addition. She was so late to the game. Like, she was one of the last few characters that I was gonna bring in, because as a little kid, like, coming up with all those Serian Kall stories, you know, I had so many different versions of Siren. It's because like there were Serian Kall in Luke's Jedi Order, in the Old Republic, and the Exar Kun era, and there were so many different characters, and the three characters that always stuck around in every single version were Siren, Alina, and Jalius. Kaiza was in a few of them. Jorn was in a few of them, but not always. There's some new characters that you'll see in book 3 that were in a couple of them. But Kaiza was like she was the last like character. I'm like, she's gonna be in the series. But this is why the stories rule so many possibilities. It's true. The possibilities are endless. And the big thing that I love with Siren is he's not as connected to the main timeline as the other characters. Like, he doesn't interact with as many of the main characters of the Skywalker saga. He really has his own story. And again, the possibilities are endless. The more you know about Star Wars, the more possibilities are endless. And yes, there will be a lot more learning about the Force. There's one book that does that a lot, and I'm really excited for that one. But yeah. And also Alina got one vote. My girl Alina. Because Alina is one of the oldest she was one of the first side characters besides Siren and Jalius Saren that I ever came up with. So she's been around since, in my head, she's been around since I was real little. So hopefully there'll be some more love for her in the future. Jorn hasn't got as much to do in the story yet, but more stuff coming down the line. But there is a character that I am really excited to introduce in book 3, and I'm not going to spoil anything about him, but the best way I can describe him is a dark Kyle Katarn. He's a dark Kyle Katarn. And he was supposed to be in Shadow of Terror, but I moved him to book 3. And Kaiza took his place. And I think Kaiza fit in this story better than he would have fit in Shadow of Terror. I don't know. That's the way I see it. I thought Kaiza would fit better in Shadow of Terror. Shadow of Terror got a major rewrite because Kaiza was swapped in. But I think the story got better because of it. I think the story's better. I don't know if the story's like that good. But do Siren learning from Nihilus Ghost? That shit I'm excited. I don't think Nihilus is showing up. I mean, the Sith could show up, but I don't know anything about Nihilus. Nihilus could show up. I'm not sure, but I do know he will be learning from other Force orders at some point. There's one that I can't believe people don't talk about it. It's actually crazy that people don't know about or don't remember this Force order. That both Siren and Kaiser will be running to. Maybe some other characters along the way. But I can't believe nobody uses them in fan stories or fan fictions, or I can't believe they don't show up in Star Wars stories at all, because they are so, like, there was a time when these guys were like the big dogs. Dark Kyle Katarn character, boom, bomb drop. It's true. He will be in the first Clone Wars story, and I would say he's got about the same kind of development as Kaiser. Like, I really should be giving my main character as much character development as Kaiser and this other character, who I won't spoil, but I don't know. The way I describe him is he doesn't care about the light or dark side. Like, he doesn't see it as like a significant difference, but he sees the Force as like a tool. Where Kyle Katarn's more like, yeah, we use the Force for whatever side, like, but we do it for the good. I don't know. The way I've always seen Kyle Katarn is, all right, the Force is the Force, but we use it for good. This guy's more like, we use the Force for whatever the hell we want, and we do it our way, and nobody gets in our way. But yeah, Dark Kyle Katarn. That's not his actual name, but that's the best way I can describe him as a character. But I don't know. I could pull up the cover. I have them on my phone because I'm so expensive with my covers. But hold on. Let me see if I can pull Book 3's cover up. Book 3's cover looks like that. It's really blurry. But I don't know. That was actually way more blurry. I don't know if there's a way I could actually pull it up. Hold on. I might be able to get a better image of books 3 and 4. Maybe this will work, maybe it won't. But hold on. Where is it? I don't know how this is gonna work, but allow it. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, go away. Go away. Okay. Here it is. All right. I'm pulling them up. I am pulling up Book 3's cover. Thank you for telling me that. I didn't need to know. Is there a way I can pull that up? What is the way I can literally save this and literally just share my screen? Hold on. Let's see if I can share my screen. Share screen. Let's see if I can share my screen. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay. How does that look? How does that look? Oh, it's not working. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep, it is The Adventures of Serian Kall, Tales from the Clone Wars, Story 1, The Knights Rebellion. I'll let you guess what planet that is, but we are going deeper into the actual war of the Clone Wars. And what we're doing is we're doing tales from the Clone Wars. So we're going to do a couple different tales, but they're all going to be full length stories. Okay, now how do I get out? But yeah, that is the cover of the next one. I can't spoil much about it. I can't spoil all that much about it because that would be cheating. Oh. Allow it. Okay. My phone. Okay, now get out. But yeah, I've read a lot of books, Star Wars and different fantasies, and your story is in top 2, and that's from at least 2,000 books. Serian Kall is not that good. He's not that good. Like, he's a fun little fan fiction. I don't think he's better than most Star Wars books or Harry Potter, like any of the top tier stuff. He's just a little cheap one. One question I do have is actually the way, not Serian Kall himself, but the series that inspired me to actually present Serian Kall on YouTube, and the format that I do it in is from a YouTuber named Concordia Jedi. He is a fan fiction series called Cassius. I would really recommend that one. It's not as viewed on his channel, but it's really, really good. It's a very different story from Serian Kall. It's a very different story from Serian Kall, but it's still really, really cool. But that's a lot of the inspiration for how I do it. Because the series isn't as, like, descriptive. It's only, like, 10 chapters a book. But yeah. We're going into the Clone Wars. And, I'll let you guess what planet that is. But, I'll give you a hint. It's from one of the 2 Knights of the Old Republic games. Because I love KOTOR too goddamn much. I don't know why I love KOTOR as much as I do, but it's so good. Both of them are so good. But yeah, I don't know if Serian's that good. But yeah, the stories are infinite. Oh, I actually have this. I have book 4 as well, don't I? I'm not spoiling book 5 though, unless you really want me to. The cover for book whatchamacallit, book 5. Unless you beg me, I won't spoil it because it might be too harsh for the world. Alright. Oh, come on. Oh. Yeah, now you can do it. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up book 4. This is the other Clone Wars tale that we will be telling in our escapades. This is the other story we will be, like, KOTOR for life. KOTOR for life. This is the other tales from the Clone Wars. The Shadow's Vengeance. Huh. A story called Shadow of Terror, and we're getting another story with Shadow in the title. Wonder if there will be any returning characters in that one. And the planet that you are seeing might not be the planet you're expecting it to be, because it is a planet from the actual Star Wars universe. It is a desert planet that is already established. But it might not be the one. Might not be the one you predict. Kajimi might have been a hint. My friend pours the milk first. You mean before the cereal? I don't know about that one. And unless you beg, I don't want to spoil book 5. Because that one's going to be hard for me to write. I'm not spoiling anything, but book 5 will be very hard for me to write. In a lot of ways. But I'm not, unless you beg and scream at me to show the cover. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Pouring the milk before the cereal? I mean, it's a choice. No one's opposed to the choice. but it is a choice. Whether we agree with it, it's all up in the air. But, yeah. Because I've only got the covers for so many shadows called John Wick. Careful. Make sure there's no dogs. Make sure there's no dogs in the alleyway, in the shadows, otherwise the whole cast dies. The whole cast dies at John Wick's hands. No mercy. But Shadow of Terror, The Shadow's Vengeance, who knows, returning characters. It's almost like the Shadow could be referring to a character in the series. But yeah. So should I release another poll saying if people want to see the cover of Book 5 or not? I can't spoil anything about it, but you'll all know which story it is. You'll basically know what happens as soon as I show the cover. But all right, I'll do the poll. The poll got a difference. Jorn Kavar got a vote. I'm surprised. Not surprised, I'm just shocked. But wow, Jorn got a vote. Let's go. I like Jorn. Oh, Jorn got 2. Jorn Kavar got 50%. Alina Kira got yeah. I'm glad Jalius Saren got 0 votes because he's supposed to be unlikable. We're supposed to hate him. But yeah. Hope there's no shadows. Yeah. Let me just throw up another poll. Do you see cover of Book 5 or save it? Show, save for spoilers. There you go. Save for spoilers. Because it is a very spoiler-heavy cover. Spoiler-heavy cover. But I don't want to, ruin the surprise for people. But, unless you guys don't care. Because those 2 Clone Wars covers don't really spoil anything. They just show a planet and that it's going to be in the Clone Wars era. It'll just be in the Clone Wars era, but that's okay. I just voice cracked, and that was terrible. All right, we got 50-50 here. Oh, save for spoilers. Okay, I will save that cover for spoilers. I will not spoil what happens in that. Oh, it is show. It's 50-50. 50-50. We'll save it for now, and if it goes higher, if the poll goes higher, then I'll show it, but I also don't want to spoil it for people. What Book 5 could be about. It will be the mysterious, it'll be like the case in Pulp Fiction. I'll keep talking about it and stuff, and nobody will actually know what it is. But I am surprised that Jorn Kavar got the most amount of votes of the characters. That is shocking to me. I would have thought Kaiza had it for sure. Because Kaiza's like the most developed character in the series. I am surprised. Yeah, Jorn shocked me. But yeah, what I can confirm for Shadow of Terror's almost done. Longer chapters, but what you can expect is Rhoda the Hutt. You guys haven't met the Rhodian bounty hunter from the trailer. Well, you'll get to meet him pretty soon. And even more developments with Kaiza. We're going to learn a lot more about her. And there's going to be some tensions that rise between Sirin and Kaiza. Kaiza is going to ask some difficult questions to Sirin that he's not going to be entirely sure how to answer. So that's what you can expect from Shadow of Terror. And for the Knight's Vengeance, some feuding between allies. We're going to see a dark Kal Katarn style character. Oh yeah, the majority of people are saying save for spoilers. So I'm gonna save book 5, and don't show. I won't show it. Fair enough. And I will keep it to myself until the book actually comes out, which will be a little while from now. But because I also want to let the other 2 stories be quality and finish Shadow of Terror. So okay, we will save the last. We will save it. I think that might be the smarter idea. Preferably, I think that would be the smarter decision for that specific story. Again, I haven't said anything about it, but you never know what could happen. But yeah, Knight's Vengeance, the best way I can. But yeah, Knight's Vengeance. Friendships are gonna be really tested by laws. There's gonna be a lot of Star Wars political shambles, not like real world politics, but like in universe politics. The Senate is going to be in shambles. There's going to be a lot of struggles between Republic, Separatist, and neutrality. There's going to be a lot of issues in that realm. And we're going to see some friends maybe actually have to go up against each other to do what they both think is right. But that's Knight's Vengeance, and I can't confirm anything else. And I won't confirm anything for the Shadow's Vengeance, and the other book that I'm still not spoiling. Imagine after losing to Dooku, Anakin trained like a madman in Makashi because his ego got destroyed. To be fair, that's something Anakin would do if he really did. Although Anakin did go try hard in Gemso, because before Attack of the Clones, he used the variant of Form 5, which was Xian. And then he lost to Dooku, and he just went try hard with the Gemso until he was good enough to beat Dooku, which I think is really, really funny. I think it's funny that he did that, but yeah. Anakin just went try hard mode. I feel like that is Anakin as a kid. You could even go as far to say, after losing to Obi-Wan, Vader went and actually practiced a more defensive and calculating version of combat. So I don't think it's out of character for him to do that. Although I think Anakin would have been really good at Makashi. If you really went all out, I think Anakin would have been really good at Makashi. But I'm actually trying to get artwork of Serian Kall pretty soon. I don't know how I'm gonna get it, but I made him in SWTOR, and he's not great, but it's better than other stuff. So Serian Kall has a version of himself in SWTOR, and I'm trying to get like an official piece of artwork for him, even if it's just one picture. Because we hear about him, but we don't know what he looks like. But yeah. What else is there? Oh yeah, the What If series is still happening. We're going to continue the series of what if the story continued, or what if the Vader and Starkiller story continued. Gonna still go on that for a little while. That story will continue to happen. There's a lot more story to tell there because Luke is a psychopath in that timeline. Oh, I can show a clearer image of the power scaling video I'm doing. My next power scaling project, which I know will be controversial to all those who see it, but I gave a blurry image now I can show a good image. Hold on. Here we go. How is it that Sidious never got rusty in lightsaber combat when we all know he didn't like it, but dudes like Obi-Wan's Legends and Canon got rusty? I feel like Sidious got a little rusty. I'm not gonna lie, because he lost to Mace Windu. He lost to Yoda in just pure dueling. I think a lot of what made Sidious a good duelist was his speed and his force power, to be honest. I feel like his speed and his just raw force power kept him from being terrible. But when he was actually like pitted against characters who could match his power, he just sucked. He lost. And that's why I think Mace and Yoda were able to beat him. Because Mace isn't equal with Sidious in power, but at the same time, he's a way better duelist, and Yoda is pretty close to Sidious in power. But yeah, hold on. I tried to show this to people earlier, but it didn't work out. But this is my next power scaling video, and I know it's gonna be controversial, but this is the next video in the realm of power scaling, and it is Luke Skywalker as it is the canon version of Luke Skywalker from the Disney timeline, because we've power scaled Legends Luke to death. It's power scaled Disney Luke. I should pull my phone out. Hope Luke has a child, and because he's mad, Mara hides the child. It's a little cruel. It's a little cruel for. Oh, you mean in the What If? If in the What If series, yeah, if Luke had a child, Mara would not let him near Luke. Which you will see in potential What If stories. Mara did support Luke in killing Maul on Malachor, but now that Luke is completely deranged and mad with power, I don't think Mara necessarily supports him. She's not as much of an ally of him as she once was. And Kip Duron being his apprentice, I think Kip Duron might not exactly enjoy his master's psychopathic nature. Grandmaster Luke all the way. Hell yeah. Hold on. One sec. Alright, now we're back. Sorry. Conversations. It's all good. But yeah, Grandma. Legends Luke is my preferred Luke Skywalker. Actually, original trilogy Luke is my preferred Luke Skywalker, but continuing after the original trilogy, Legends for life, man. Legends is probably the best version. I mean, this is the man who forgave Kip Duron after his crimes, and then Kip went on to be an amazing Jedi. And he had a son and a wife. He had everything. And he was good. Like, I don't know. One thing I will say is one of the reasons Obi-Wan is one of my favorite characters is because the man went through like so much stuff and he just never broke. Never ever broke. And obviously in the Disney timeline, characters break a lot easier than they do in Legends. That's all up for debate. I talked about how to separate canon and Legends. earlier, but yeah, another thing I like about Luke in Legends is he never really broke. He broke a couple times, but he pulled himself back. And that's why I think he's still my favorite version of the character. Although, what if Luke Skywalker is so fun to write just because of how sadistic he is? How over the top sadistic he is, and how creepily powerful he is. But, yeah. Ooh, here's a fun poll idea. Speaking of Luke Skywalker. Here we go. Here's a fun poll. Here's a fun poll. Who wins in an all-out death match between the Luke Skywalkers? Yeah, Legends would probably take it, but what if Serious is not one to underestimate? He's kind of, insane. I mean, the dude can literally just possess people from across the galaxy and just puppeteer them like kids. I have so much fun writing with Dark Luke's power. Because he's so chaotic. He's so fun to write because of just how chaotic he is. You never know what way he's gonna go. Discord is going. I have Fwenzies. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fun. Legends Luke would probably take it. But hey, don't underestimate Dark Luke. Dark Side Luke Skywalker. But they're not gonna stop. But that's okay. Yeah, Legends Luke got the majority of votes. I know. Okay, you can stop talking. But yeah, I don't know what else people want to talk about, but what can I do? I can show. What if I can get my Swator Serian Kall? What if I can pull him up? Let's see if I can pull up what he looks like. I'll do that. I'll pull up what he looks like, and that'll probably be the end of the stream, unless we end up having more conversation. So yeah, hold on. This is gonna take forever to log in. But we'll get there. We will get there. All right, might as well end the poll. Gotta go, boss. Is looking for me. Have a blessed night and keep the stories. And please don't kill off Luke in a generic way. Hold on, I'll finish it. In a generic way, kind of over those. Keep him random and goes to his own drums. Let's just say the way he's going out is not is not generic. I can't confirm if he dies or not, but it is a sadistic way he goes. If he goes, it's gonna be pretty wild the way he goes. But excuse me. Hold on. I don't wanna. How do I make it a smaller screen? Hold on, I'm pulling him up. But I'll end the stream in a sec. Get him out. They want me to do the cinematic again, and I don't want to. Hold on. And that is when I'm going to customer preferences. Control combat logging. So yeah, you guys can talk about whichever you want. Am I hearable? And I will answer that. Sorry, I had to check if I was hearable. I had to make sure y'all thought I was hearable. But, yeah. Hold on. Sorry, this is probably very boring, but it should be complete pretty quickly. Where is it? And then weapons. Hold on, I'll have it done in a sec. Oh, it's gonna be yellow, isn't it? I want a blue one. I mean, that technically works. Now the key is to you know what? I'll put it in a video. I'll make a whole video out of it, demonstrating what he looks like in SWTOR. Is what I will do, because that's going to take way too long, and yeah, it's probably very boring. So I will kick off the stream now, and hope you guys all enjoyed. Hope you all had fun. I hope you can't wait for the next. You should check out The Adventures of Serian Kall, because that's a very, very fun series. And one I think you would all enjoy very, very, very much. There's a lot more to come. I won't spoil book 5. Hopefully I didn't already spoil it. But yeah, I hope you all have fun. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.